being said, we have obviously we've heard quite a bit of rumors. We've talked about in the previous pod about all quarterbacks basically to say. Now we'll be talking about more so in depth with the trade rumors that's been going on with players like Odell, which you see in my background.
Odell.
Odell, OBJ, number 13. But you got Zach Ertz,
Would he be
and
13?
oh, that's a good question, depending on where he's going. But with that being said, we'll start off with you this time, Spence. Do you have any news in terms of the trade rumors that you have heard of, non-quarterback?
Well, other than Zach Ertz talking about a huge interest of the Colts and Seahawks in him, pretty much everything else is, to be honest, everything else of trading wise, of a non like positional wise, isn't very loud as much. It's really morally free agency about others like that. Others like that. Other than Zach, which is if I'm the Seahawks and if I'm Russell, and since Russell's upset, this should be one of the top priorities from them. I mean, of course you need a line, of course. But Zach Ertz, because Greg Olson's retired, I don't think Disley's gonna do as much as you think he is. He's kind of undersized for tight end. And what was it? Was it Homer or the other one? I just can't remember. They're kind of undersized. No. The other tight end. I know is Disley or Desley?
He's with the Baltimore Ravens, or he was with the Baltimore Ravens because they cut him.
Oh,
but I don't know who their current tight ends. Yeah, a bunch of them.
I mean, you know what? Maybe it is Homer. I'm thinking of Homer. Homer and somebody else. All right.
But I know him. Homer's the running back.
Yeah, Travis Homer. Yeah, he's a running back.
Which was the tight end? Well, anyways, whoever it is, they're undersized for what they're trying to do of what Russell needs. So getting somebody like Zach Ertz, able to block, catch, has the vertical threat they kind of needs, that would help. Now the only issue with that, and the Colts have to keep in mind also, is Zach is kind of injury prone. We haven't seen a full season from Zach Ertz in a minute, so it might be a little bit sketchy. But if I'm especially the Seahawks, if I'm the Seahawks, yeah, I'm punching my ticket. Other than that, running like wide receivers, I haven't heard about OBJ. I know, and it makes kind of sense because I don't know if the Browns want to keep him because of the hey, look at me, throw the ball to me kind of thing right now, and see how much success they had without him. So yeah. But other than that, I got nothing, gentlemen. Nothing yet. Let me say that.
All right, Trey.
Well, first off, as far as the whole Ertz thing with Seattle, I don't see that making a big difference because just remember they traded for Jimmy Graham a couple years ago, and he didn't do anything with them.
He saved them. He saved him from that Green Packer. He saved him from that Packer game.
I mean, Jimmy Graham has been up and down ever since New Orleans. He hasn't been the same.
But no, I think that is part of Seattle though, because how they use their tight ends. They use their tight ends to block a lot. Jimmy Graham wasn't used like a primary receiving tight end like he was in New Orleans.
What about
that's the same thing. That's the same thing with any of their tight ends. Greg Olson's numbers. We're not talking about Green Bay right now. This isn't about
Jimmy. This ain't
Jimmy Graham topic. I'm just saying if you look at their tight ends in general, they don't utilize them.
Right. They don't use them for receiving wise.
Greg Olson's numbers compared to all his seasons in Carolina, they didn't add up this year. Like they don't. So I don't see why they want him. I don't see the interest for me because you're not going to use him like a tight end. You're gonna I mean, I guess technically you are because he's gonna block. That's another job of a tight end,
but I get what you mean.
He's gonna become a primary blocker in Seattle's offense versus
right. I
if
get
he
what you
goes
mean.
to the Colts, I feel like he'll have more success as far as being actually utilized.
Right.
Yeah, because he won't need to stay in there as a pass blocker just because they have a better offensive line than Seattle.
Right.
So.
And that might be part of the reason why they had to, keep their tight ends to block so much. But I'm just saying that definitely had a lot to do with it. Now, to answer your question though, you say, what about in Green Bay? Well, think about how many years he wasted. Was he in Seattle for 3?
I believe so.
Think how many
I
years
want to say 3.
Think how many years he wasted of his prime in Seattle just blocking. Because he probably was with New Orleans for, I would say 4. Because they didn't resign him when he was due for his contract. That's the reason he left.
Right.
Then you then you play another 3 in Seattle. I'm just saying. I mean,
got you.
When he went to Green Bay, he wasn't Jimmy Graham by that time anymore. But
I mean, he was still fairly young though. It was at least he was probably at least 27, 28 at that time.
Jim.
Which,
he was Jim.
But yeah. His production and all that went down. But anyways.
Yeah, but besides that though, as far as trades, as far as the OBJ thing, that's a rumor. But again, I know Brady and Odell, they do have a good relationship. It's said to, and Odell, before he even went to Cleveland, he always said that it would be his dream at the time to go to New England and have played with Brady. So considering now pieces have to fall, right? If the Bucs can't resign Godwin, if they choose not to bring AB back, I think it makes all the sense that you see a trade for Odell. And then money-wise, it actually makes sense because most of Odell's guaranteed money and everything has already been paid out because you know how the contracts are worked. They front load everything and signing bonuses and everything.
Right.
So essentially, them trading for Odell would save them money versus if they were to re-sign Chris Godwin now because you have to pay him the signing bonus and all those other incentives kind of up front versus Odell, which I'm pretty sure he would want to renegotiate with you guys at some point, but in the short term, it makes more sense to essentially and to me, it's an upgrade. I know you guys like Chris Godwin in Tampa, but.
And just to add to that real quick, for all the fans that don't know, OBJ, going into this year, he has 3 more years remaining on his deal. As Trey was mentioning earlier, the New York Giants, they pretty much have paid most of his contract as is. And then the Cleveland Browns, they took on a good percentage of the second half of his contract, which, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, from the last time I checked, it would be 12.731. I had a debate with a few friends on, again, our sports page that we talk about. It's the Great Sports Debate that Trey mentions from time to time. If you want to get on that page, just let us know. We'll send you the invite to the page. But as I was talking about with the few other guys, they were like, oh, why would that make sense? Well, Chris Godwin, from what the reports I've heard, at the minimum that I've heard, he's probably going to look at, depending on the market too, because it could increase. But the minimum that I've heard, he could be looking at least 19 mil, at least. I've heard north of 20, but I've heard at least 19 mil that he could be commanding. OBJ right now, going into this season, his salary base would be 12.731. So 19 mil, 12.731.
Better receiver.
That's out. Yeah. And yeah, no offense to CG. I mean, I still like him. He's a really good receiver, but OBJ is definitely a number 1. And yeah, I mean, as Trey was saying, Odell has expressed that he would love to come to Tampa. Well, he would love to play with Tom Brady in New England. Well, he's going to be in an even better situation because he's going to be in the warm weather. If this happens, I'm not saying it's going to, but if it happens, he'll be in the warm weather playing with the quarterback that he's always wanted to play with, and a coach that's going to let him be himself instead of going to New England being like Ocho Cinco, to where you have to kind of walk a thin line and not really be yourself. So you can go ahead and continue, Trey, if you have anything else.
Yeah. So as far as that OBJ to Tampa, that's one thing that I'm not saying is catching steam, because that's going to be something that more or less, well, one, the Browns have to come out and, say that, hey, we don't want OBJ anymore and we're going to move on, which everybody has kind of speculated that. I thought that if he didn't get hurt, he would have got traded to begin with last season, but because he got hurt, that kind of changed that.
Yeah.
And then especially when you see Baker, like his numbers, the second half of the season without OBJ in the lineup, pretty much everything went up. So I would not be surprised to see him get traded, if anywhere. Again, depending on how things go with the whole free agency as far as Chris Godwin. And I pretty much think it's a sure thing that they bring back AB, but maybe you let them both go. And if you know you're going to get OBJ and Mike Evans, that's probably an upgrade over maybe AB at this point. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, still be cheaper to keep AB. You talk about the money side of things. You're gonna pay OBJ 12. You're not paying AB nothing near that at this point. So, and you might get the same production, maybe. So I don't know. That would be something to have to look at. But yeah, that's all I have as far as non QB trade rumors right now.
And just another thing to add to that is, and I'll continue on from there. But obviously, OBJ, we all know he rocks that number 13. I would be interested if that does come to, to action, like it actually happens where he comes to Tampa. Yeah. I was trying to find a different word than that. But yeah, if that actually happens, I would be interested in seeing, who's going to change the number. If Mike Evans is going to keep his number, or if OBJ is going to be like, you know what, I'd rather play with something else. But I think OBJ would be the one to change the number, just out of respect. But at the same time, who knows? Also, other things that I've heard. One of them was Stephon Gilmore, which we heard some of that last season, just because the contract. I don't know if y'all remember, but Stephon Gilmore was. Yeah, exactly. So he wants more money to say, and Bill Belichick, he don't really play so much about that so much. So depending on how that whole contract stuff goes and whatnot, he could find himself out the door. I don't think so, but it's just the way Bill Belichick, rolls, how he does things. I just don't see.
Hey, Belichick finessed that man though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you remember that?
He traded for him for the Bills. For those of you who don't know, traded for him. He basically seen him, like he's seen the potential, or seen the upside, seen where he was, basically transitioning to, and so he re-signed him early, which is smart though. Don't get me wrong, it's very smart. He re-signed him early, extended him early, that way. So at the time he got paid, it was like a lot of money at that time initially. But you gotta know the market increases it's about every season, honestly, or I'd say every 2 seasons at least, depending on
every two.
So at the time, okay, he's the highest paid corner. Cool. This is before he even won Defensive Player of the Year or anything like that. He already got paid his money. Cool. So he's extended. He's under contract. Then, Xavier Harold comes out and he sets the market and, things like that. So now there's these other guys who, if I'm Stephon Gilmore, I feel like I'm better than all these boys, but I'm not getting paid nowhere near the top cornerback in the league. So I can understand him wanting to get paid, but I also see the business side of Belichick being smart and being like, okay, I know this dude's going to be a future Pro Bowler, this, and that. Let me just go ahead and extend him now and save myself money in the future.
Yep. Also, I remember a report that was said about that. I think it was after Stephon Gilmore had got his pay raise. And I believe it was the following season, post that season, that he got paid. And Bill Belichick and him were talking, and he was like, "Hey, Stephon Gilmore was, trying to get more money than what he originally signed up for." And Bill Belichick told him, he said, "So you want us to pay you more than Tom Brady? Tom Brady's he's our quarterback. Like, you're not getting paid more than Tom Brady." Like, in a story, like, that's just how Bill Belichick sees things. Like, you're trying to get more money than Tom Brady. That's just not going to happen. So, like you said, Trey, that he did finesse him, but at the same time, he used his own quarterback to set the market in terms of how much money he wasn't going to get, which obviously was looking more than 25 mil at that time. So, but the biggest news that I got, which I heard about this today, and this is something that I was talking to Spence about off the air, but I didn't give him the details on it.
The shocker, right?
The shocker, yes. This does have a quarterback involved in it. I don't know if anybody have heard this, but this was reported by David Newton. Again, this was reported today. The Carolina Panthers, they have been widely acknowledging that they are wanting a quarterback. It seems like the whole league is inspired by the whole Tom Brady, Tampa Bay Buccaneers thing, that the quarterback, could be that one missing key to getting them to a championship. And they reportedly are interested in Deshaun Watson.
I think I did see that rumor.
Okay. So what was reported was that they are looking to trade Christian McCaffrey, running back for the Carolina Panthers, to the Houston Texans for also 3 first-round picks, which is crazy to me, but that's what was reported by David Newton. I don't know how legit that is, but it's just something that I came across. Huh?
Well, no. I'll say, if David's talked about it, I mean, it's not set in stone, but it's something that they're very talkative. C-Mac
for 3 first-round picks. Great. Well, 3 first-round picks and C-Mac to Houston for Deshaun Watson, which is, hear
me out though. Hear me out though, because
all right, devil's advocate, go ahead.
Running back is the easiest transition position in the NFL. They can get another running back in the draft still.
And what happened to Christian McCaffrey this past season?
Got injured, sat out most of the season.
Yeah, trust me, I had him in fantasy. Could have used him, but I didn't have him. So he played maybe 3 games total or something like that.
Yep.
All season. So they already live without him. And you got to also factor in that they were in a bunch of games.
Mm-hmm.
Had they had a Deshaun Watson, maybe some of those losses are W's. Kansas City beat them by a missed field goal. New Orleans beat them by a missed field goal.
Sly.
I can't think of the other game. The Falcons, I think one of the Falcons.
Falcons.
Falcons won. Yep.
So it's just like,
yep.
They were in games, so they're better than what their record showed. But how that goes. At the end of the day, you are what your record is. So, but they are a team I could definitely say was like way better than their record. I could
And
kind of say, I could kind of say that about the Chargers, but that's a different story. But
they have a young team too, just so y'all know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
last year, they drafted all defense and a lot of
yeah.
young players. I mean, I'm sure that even free agency. There's a lot of free agents that we discussed last podcast on episode 37. For those that didn't see that, y'all can go back to that. We discussed about pretty much everybody, or at least the top guys. But even then, like there's guys that we didn't speak about that or free agents that the Carolina
Cur-
Panthers could add, and I'm sure they
Curtis
have the cap
Samuel was
space to do so.
actually a free agent, which
No, see,
I don't think we
yeah,
talked about that last time. I didn't realize.
no, yeah,
If
we didn't talk
if
about that.
anything though,
Oh,
that's somebody they definitely should keep. I like him, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if he wants
they
too
got
much
receivers.
money, I could see. Yeah, this draft is going to be deep at receiver. So,
Yeah,
but then again, if you
Yeah.
trade all your assets for Watson, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. That is a crazy rumor I heard, but I mean, my thing though is why would you want? I'm not saying why the Texans would want CMC.
C-Mac.
You know why you would want him, but
yeah.
who's your quarterback still? That's my whole question.
AJ
But then again,
McCarron?
if you're getting the Panthers first, they do have a top 10 pick, so I guess you could address both of those things.
And see, to me, what doesn't make sense about this trade is that they just traded last year for David Johnson. So why would you trade for another running back that's on a pretty, hefty contract, which obviously David Johnson's contract is probably peanuts to C-Mac's contract now, but still, they're still pretty big contracts. So, I mean, but then again, we said last year we were shocked and just in disbelief about the whole D Hop getting traded away for a freaking second round pick. So, I mean, we never know,
Well,
never know.
well, real quick. I just want to let everybody know. Let's put this in Hope's perspective of the Texans live story. Remember this. It all started this. Remember, D Hop got traded. They went 0-4. Bill O'Brien got fired.
Yep.
They had one of the worst records in the NFL. JJ's now gone, and now their quarterback is going to sit out. Remember, all this happened in one season.
Yeah.
Could have avoided all of that.
if
They were
I'm if I'm
definitely. It's crazy how they went from being an AFC playoff team to
to
basically
to
somebody selected in the top five, even though they don't have their top five, their number 3 pick because they traded to Miami, but still,
yeah.
just
Hey, don't worry, we got it.
yeah.
We got it.
But outside of that, I don't have any more news beyond that. Y'all hit on the whole Zach Ertz possibly being traded. Uh, I think we talked briefly about the Baltimore Ravens um, right tackle that is seeking to be a left tackle, which he played when Ronnie Stanley went down with the Achilles injury or another ACL injury against the Steelers, the first matchup. He
The one
filled in
y'all
that
lost.
role at left. Yeah, the one that we
Oh,
lost. But
y'all lost both of them. My bad.
we
Continue.
he played left tackle all throughout the rest of the remainder of the season. Got selected to the Pro Bowl for both right tackle and left tackle. He got right tackle Pro Bowl for MVP season for Lamar Jackson, and then this past season he played left tackle ever since Ronnie Stanley's injury and did a
Okay.
phenomenal job. Obviously, his father was a legend in Baltimore, um, so he wants to play left tackle because, as he said on Twitter, I am a left tackle. So he wants to play left tackle. Obviously, there's a big difference in pay. I believe it's about five mil difference. The average left tackle gets paid 23 compared to the average right tackle gets paid 18 mil. So if that's his motive, go for it. He's obviously shown that he can play both. So yeah, But with that being said, we can go ahead and go on to our final topic of the evening, which is the latest news on
Wait,
the
actually,
end.
hold on real quick before we go on. Which I know this isn't necessarily a trade per se, but it
What's
is
that?
something that we did hear a little bit about today.
It
And
better be juicy.
uh, yeah, I think to me it's juicy the fact of
Okay. All
J.J.
right.
All right,
Watt coming out
like
and
a
saying
steak.
that he's seriously considering signing to the Browns.
Ah,
I don't understand that.
Oh. That's in y'all's. Go ahead.
mm,
I
I
just
mean, I mean, we'll see them maybe once or twice, but this is y'all. This is y'all two.
mm.
I thought we were chasing the ring, or you're going to play with your brothers, or even going home, which that would have been
Oh,
big.
but
Where does
what? But
Cleveland
what
come
if?
from? Where
But
does
what's
Cleveland come
better? But what's better? Beating not only your brother's team, but taking over their own division.
Well, they're
Hmm.
not gonna take over the division because the Ravens taking that. But yeah.
Well, you're still up in the air, so we'll get back to that.
Yeah, I just it's. I mean, I get it.
Hey,
The only thing I
hey.
could. That's one thing too. They could probably
I'm just saying.
they could
I'm
probably
just saying that.
pay him more, and they are technically, I guess, a contender, right?
Yeah, they
I'm
have a
just saying.
talent.
As soon as they let, as soon if Vic thing, if what Vic saying is true, cut him out the books. Hey, here's a blank check. Write what you want.
Well, no, they're not giving JJ no Blake check at
Yeah,
this point in his
yeah.
No, I
career.
mean maybe not, but they will
He
pay
probably
him.
get like 10 mil, probably
Yeah,
at the
I
max.
think that's the max he can get now.
Maybe.
He's not
If
elite.
he's trying to, yeah, if he's trying to ask for more than that, it's not gonna happen. I mean,
I don't think he
Not
maybe,
is.
from
I don't
not
think
maybe,
he is. I don't think he is either. I don't think he is either. But I'm just saying.
maybe some team that's desperate for him, maybe so. Uh, like them sorry Miami Dolphins. Nah,
You know
just
what the
messing
funny
around.
thing about it is that too. You know what? Hang on, Trey. You know the funny thing about this too. Before we move on, not only we play the Bucks this season, we play the Ravens again this season. And I swear to
Oh,
God,
two L's,
I
two
swear to
L's,
God, I
two
swear to
L's.
God.
That's all I heard. Y'all taking two L's. But uh, yeah, I mean, I'm not
Ooh,
honestly.
I can't
To
wait for the
me,
off
in my
season.
opinion, I if like Trey said, if he's trying to chase a ring, um, go to the Chiefs, the Bucks, depending on what they do. Um, the
Colts,
Packers, I feel like is a better chance um, than the what's it called, the Steelers.
Browns. Oh,
Um, the Browns. I mean, I honestly, in my opinion, I feel like the Browns are better, um, in a better situation than the Steelers, only because and the fact that this just happened recently. I don't think we talked about it, but yeah, we did talk about it.
yeah.
The Pouncey brothers, they both retired, and that's a big part of the offense. I don't know the backup. Trey knows more about that because that's his team. Obviously, the offensive line was having problems last year, so losing, Marquise Pouncey, that's a blow, especially for the offensive line. The center is like the heart and soul. So I I'm not too sure what offensively how they're going to look, and that's going to be their biggest. It's going to be basically similar to the 2020 season, where you had a strong defense, but the offense was in question. And from what I've heard, Ben and Pouncey, they both wanted to retire together, and the fact that Pouncey was retiring leaves a lot in the air for Big Ben, which I know Trey is ready for it. I'm hoping Ben says he wants to stay, but we'll see on that. So I mean, regardless to all that, I also heard the Ravens are interested, which hey, we'll welcome you with
no, the
open
Ravens need to be
arms.
interested in the receivers. What they need.
That's what y'all
Hey,
need
I
to be
mean,
interested in.
hey, it is
Oh,
what it
hey,
is. I
hey,
mean,
real quick. Hey, Vick, I look
Yes,
at the free
sir.
agency list. Y'all have 2 names on there that's very interesting.
Yep.
Are you finna resign them?
Honestly, I think if we do resign one of them, it's going to be Matt Judon. I don't think it's going to be Yannick, Unique, and
Oh
Gagwe.
yeah, you're right. I did see that. That was crazy. So you guys rented him for nothing?
For
Yeah, I mean,
nothing.
we didn't give a lot for him, but still, it was just he didn't really pan out to be what we thought he was going to be. But then again, who knows?
You,
I don't know what their front office thinking. Maybe
you
he didn't have a lot of time with the Ravens. Maybe they want to give him an off season. But then again, it has to come down to like the money because
no.
as for all the Ravens fans that's out there watching or that knows about this, um, Unique was like that almost every time. Like he almost got the sack, but he was never. He didn't get there. He didn't get home.
Just
So
like
I mean
how
that was
you
frustrating.
almost.
I mean we went further than the Steelers, so we were almost there.
You said we
But
swept. You said we swept y'all. What?
yeah, it don't matter. I mean, no matter what y'all do in the regular season, is what we do in the off season, right?
Moving
In the postseason.
on.
So yeah, but on to the last topic of the evening, unless y'all have anything else that y'all wanted to point out. Oh,
No.
AB, if you do leave Tampa, go to Baltimore. Join your cousin, all right? But on to the last topic, the latest news on the NBA.